as the show goes on.
Gotcha. Okay,
I
we are recording.
manually started everything. All right, here we go. And it's a cold, damp, dreary day here, so
Okay.
that's not helping. Here we go. No, I don't want to end stream. Oh, there we go. Here we go. How you doing, everybody? This is Dennis Michelson. Welcome to the science of fantasy football. Why the science of fantasy football? You get a meteorologist and a biologist together. They're going to use the scientific method that is guaranteed 100% money back if we are wrong to make you a smarter fantasy football player. How? Using the scientific method just means you're using statistics in a smarter way. And in a statistics driven game, that's what you need to do to win more in fantasy football. And joining me as does each and every week, twice a week during the regular season. He is the fantasy professor. He's a real professor. It is John Bush. John, we are 2 weeks away now from the vaunted fantasy football playoffs. It is getting to the crunch time of the season.
I'm glad that I play where points are deciding versus kind of randomness of head to head. That occurs in the playoffs only. So we're just jockeying for position 1 to 6. Uh, I just want a ticket to get in and love to get a bye, but we'll take sixth place and run with it at this point. It's been a really crazy season, a lot of injuries, especially wide receivers
Yes.
early this year. Godwin, I'm
Oh,
still hurting from that, and
yeah.
Pacheco and Rashee Rice, and there's been
No.
others, that we were high on and did not, only got us so far. And now we're scrambling and looking at the waiver wires. Ours run tonight. I've got 41 waiver wires to set. And uh, pickings are slim this week, and week 14's coming. And I probably between now and Saturday, I am going to be starting to look at, ooh, looks like somebody else is listening for, is that your dog?
Probably. Probably.
Or is that my dog? Is that my
Could
dog? Anyway, week 14, somebody's dog, maybe my dog. Was that you, Gallon? Week 14, folks, it is time to plan. And I think Dennis is going to start that off, right?
yes. So here's there you go.
Yeah.
Here's the important thing to remember is that week 14 for most people, the last week of the regular season of fantasy football, six more teams are on bye. It's bye Mageddon 2. So here's what I want you to do. After we get through a Thursday and Friday games, and you're sitting there on Saturday, you got that good turkey high going, you're eating maybe some leftover pumpkin pie. Don't think about this Sunday. You've already set those lineups. Look ahead to week 14 and see where you're going to be weak. And those are the gaps you want to fill in the second run of waivers. A lot of people don't realize that some of the best bargains come after the first set of waivers run because sometimes people have to get rid of somebody who maybe they don't have any value this week because they're hurt. They're not going to play, but they need a starter. So they're forced to waive somebody that, they're not waiving a top player by certainly not doing that, but they might be waiving a guy who might be good for a flex play in week 14 when six more teams are on bye. Because again, just like we had the first bye again last week, where we had six pretty good teams. I mean, there were six teams with viable fantasy football starters out. How about Bo Nix, Anthony Richardson, Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson, and CJ Stroud all out? That means Mixon's out. That means Derrick Henry's out. Even Ramondre Stevenson is out. And for the Commanders, both of their running backs, Terry McLaurin, not much on the Broncos other than Cortland Sutton and Bo Nix. But that's a lot of potential players that would be in your starting lineup. And you'll have an idea of injuries going into this week by Saturday, and set those lineups for week 14 in advance. Start looking ahead to where you might need to patch and fill for that last flex starter, because you'll get them cheaper this week than you will next week when everybody is looking. And planning ahead is so important in fantasy football, but it's important in real football too. And I've got a suggestion for my Kansas City Chiefs, how they keep this dynasty going and stay under the salary cap. And I think it's a brilliant idea. I just wanted to throw it out there today, see what your opinion is. Because how would the Chiefs look next year with T. Higgins at wide receiver to go with Rashee Rice if he doesn't get suspended, Xavier Worthy, you re-sign DeAndre Hopkins to a contract for a year. You'd have one heck of a wide receiver court. I know. How are you going to fit him under the cap? Well, it's pretty easy. Auxiliary contracts. That's what I'm calling this. So the Chiefs only sign their players for like $4 or $5 million a year. Okay? Put them on a good long contract. And then you have Taylor Swift offer them a personal services contract for $35 million. She's got the money. Why not make her man happy by going out a winner the last 3 years of his career? And you could, justify the contracts to the NFL by having them appear as dancers at your concerts. I'm telling you, it's a brilliant idea. Nobody's thought about this. The Chiefs could be the Los Angeles Dodgers of the NFL. Say, hey, salary cap. Don't worry about that. We're going to spend billions and billions of dollars. You just launder the money through Taylor Swift. She'll do it for her guy, won't she?
Dennis. I don't even know what to think of this scheme.
Did I mention I got a gift certificate for the place that sells those edibles in town?
No, no,
Pretty
no.
damn good, Professor. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
it might add some new life to my schemes and my ideas.
yeah. It definitely added some schemes to your. Even down here in Louisiana, some of the more brilliant politicians wouldn't think of this scheme here. They'd it's a lot easier to make folks disappear into swamps than it is
Oh yeah,
to
yeah,
put
yeah.
this scheme together. So, Dennis, I don't know what to say about this scheme here. You know, I I took the chill guy test today. I saw that you have the attention of a gnat.
Yes, I
Apparently,
do. Yep.
yeah. According to the chill guy app, turns out I'm so chill they can't even rate me. I'm 100%
Ooh,
chill guy,
that makes sense. I'd
and
agree with that rating.
yeah. So part of that reason is I don't comment on these kind of wacky things publicly. Privately, yeah. But since
Yes.
we're recording this, I can't see. My dog doesn't want me to say anything. Just keep the built bones coming to him, and he's happy. So I'm 100% chill guy, Dennis.
Well, I was only 80%,
Yeah,
but
I knew you.
I did love the write-up. It said
Oh yeah,
my tweets are a whirlwind tour
yeah,
of his brain.
yeah.
1 minute he's dissecting fantasy football strategies with the precision of a brain surgeon analyzing an MRI. The next he's contemplating the existential dread of the toilet paper shortage
Yep.
or the absurdity of presidential elections. He effortlessly blends sports analytics with political commentary, somehow managing to find humor in the chaos of it all.
Mhm.
He's a walking, tweeting encyclopedia of hot takes, controversial opinions, and surprisingly insightful observations. This guy clearly has the attention span of a gnat, but that just adds to my charm. How about that?
That's good.
80%.
80% chill.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm 100%. So I will continue that journey. So I will have no public comments about your schemes and
Yeah.
basically,
Probably a safe way to go.
you know, when they come for you, I don't know nothing. So that's
I, I
just,
I just want a six, Pete. That's all.
yeah, 6 Pete. I just want another game won by the Saints here. You know, uh, they're uh, they're tricking me again, winning a game or two. So I'm just ready for the final nosedive here in the last couple of weeks. So anyway, but week 14 is a conundrum. I will be going to that. Uh, we do have that ability on FFPC
Yep.
to look at weeks ahead, and you get two levels. You can just quickly look at the positions, and it will darken, the red out the ones that are going to be a problem. So you can quickly see, do you need to investigate or not? So I want, 41 teams. I'll narrow down to what I have to think about. Uh, Given the uh, injuries and things I've had to deal with, it's I feel like I'll be able to at least have a shot at bringing a lot of my teams into the playoffs. So we'll see. But yeah, it is. This is the time this week, and FFPC is even tougher because if they drop players, anybody week 11 on, it's unavailable for the rest of the
Yes.
season. So
Yeah.
we don't get the luxury of the wham leagues that are out there, Yahoo and ESPN. No offense, but come on. So ours is winner take all leagues, and if you drop week 11, it's gone. So you think long and hard about what you're doing, and you need two gnats worth of attention, not one, to figure this
Yeah.
stuff out.
Yeah. But it's brilliant design because it keeps from having any collusion going on behind the
Well, no, there's
scenes.
no trades too.
Yeah. If
And
I'm
it's
playing,
not collusion I worry about. It's just dummies.
it's dummies, but here's the thing. If you're in a bad league setup for pay, and you and I both go into those leagues, okay?
Well,
And
we'll split the pot kind of
one
thing.
of us doesn't spend our fab money
Yeah.
and the other one goes ahead. We're very conservative on spending fab until we get late in the season. And then whoever's got the better team, the other one releases a key player.
Right.
you've got more fab money than anybody else. You can get that player and you
Right.
could collude
Right.
to win more leagues by
Right.
doing the buddy buddy system. It's like when you sit down at a table with a friend of yours, you're playing Texas Hold'em, you know, if you come up with a good signaling routine, you hey, if I bet if I double the blind on my bet, it means I've got a strong hand. And so you see that, you don't bet. The other guy with the weaker hand says, okay, I'm not going to fight my guy. And you just split the money from the chumps. So
Yep.
there's ways to do it, but FPPC is smart. They're a step ahead of that idea.
Yep.
And I do like playing. The more I see what goes on over at FPPC, the more I am really enjoying those leagues. And boy, are they competitive, though, Professor.
Oh,
You don't have no dummies playing
no.
for money at FPPC. I'm in 6 leagues this year, co-managing that dynasty league, which we're in really good shape now, heading into the
I
last two
think we're in the
weeks.
third place.
We're in third place right now, and we have a favorable schedule this week again.
Mm-hmm.
So we're one victory point. I love how they do the victory points, where they give you points for winning your matchup, but they give you 2 more points or 1 more point for having a high score. One of the top 4 teams get 2 points. So even if you go head to head and you got the second most points in the league, you don't go home that league or that week with an 0-1 record. You come out with 2 victory points towards the standings. And that's the number one thing. You could literally be, you could have a 500 record, but the weeks that you win, you maxed out on victory points and you could be in the playoffs versus a team that's got a better record head to head but didn't score many points. They could be way down. So that's another interesting way of sort of playing against the median in a league. A lot of my sleeper leagues for Dynasty will do that, where we have 2 matchups every week. You play against the median score and you play against an opponent. In FPPC, they accomplish that through the victory points, but we're in really good shape. We're third there. I'm first by a nice margin in one of my leagues. I'm fourth in another one. And the other 3 leagues, I'm still in contention of making that last playoff spot if I have 2 good weeks. So having a good year over there and enjoying it. I haven't peeked to see how my best ball teams are doing in FPPC. Drafted a bunch of those this year. I haven't checked those out. I guess I should take a look at how I'm doing as far as being in the money there. But you're right, Professor. Tough week ahead. Breece Hall. When a guy's coming off a bye week and they're talking about injury, I hate that. J.K. Dobbins went down with a knee injury. It doesn't turn out to be very serious. It was just a sprain, but he's going to miss a week or 2. They want to keep him fresh going into the playoffs. They don't care about your fantasy football team. They care about making a run in the playoffs because they're probably going to make it. And they could probably make it without him and then have a stronger team with him healthy. But it is going to be a tough week to find those patch and fill guys that you can use for the rest of the year. But plan ahead. That is my advice to you.
Good deal. Good deal. So shall we hit the Thanksgiving? That's all I've been listening on the Sirius Fantasy channel today. Everybody's giving out all their goodies, all their stuffing, sounded like to me. But anyway, yeah, I'm ready for Dennis to give me that stone cold trifecta there, that 3-leg parlay. I'm ready. I'm ready. And
and to be honest with you, Professor, I'm not sure what
yeah,
that is
I
until we
haven't.
got to
I,
look at the data
well,
before
that's
I'm really
right.
sure.
I don't really get serious until we look at the DAPs and I hear what you've got to say. So I reserve judgment, and I feel like I'm only then ready to make a parlay with that. So I will look and see what's what, and try to figure it out. So let me
Well, while you're
pull
getting
up.
that up, I'm going to remind folks that we're going to really look ahead this weekend because we're going to look ahead to the playoffs and see if there's some teams whose players might have a slight edge on the defensive matchups in week 15, 16, and 17. Again, you cannot plan too far in advance if you want to have that little edge. But let's look at Detroit, Chicago. This is to
Well,
me.
Dennis, before we say so, set the plate. We have two good dishes: Detroit,
Ooh.
Chicago, Green Bay, Miami, 48. Then so we got two Huskies plus my dog, and we got a 37 over under Dallas Giants. Hey, and KC and Vegas is kind of right there, 42.
And
Shh.
that might be generous on that game as
Yeah,
well.
I'm gonna go beat me a dog here. He has lost his toy
Oh,
in the box of something, and he's
is
uh
that the young pup?
no, this is the older one. He's
Okay.
tricked as to where his toy went, and he's
Oh.
here. Come here. Here, come here. Come settle. Here, let me pet you. Okay, so anyway, let's pull up the DAPS for Detroit, Chicago, minus 10. 10 points spread,
Hmm.
34-14. So Chicago's that bad? Uh anyway, but it's a home game, Detroit, and they it should run all day and night, Dennis. Look at the easy DAP for Montgomery and Gibbs, and Montgomery's a little limpy, gimpy, and so you think it should be a Gibbs game for sure. So usually I've had a couple parlays with Montgomery touchdown as part of it. I think I'm gonna be conservative. If I do anything, it'll be just the Gibbs touchdown, and I'll find some other things to shoehorn in a three-legger there, but that would be one. And notice the Goff Amon Ra, tough, but Laporta should give us an opportunity. Hey, and Chicago, Detroit's defense is only, and it's one of these weird things where the quarterback is tough, but the wide receivers are okay. But I wouldn't play the kicker. I wouldn't play their defense, but I would play Detroit's defense. And the Swift is going to have to earn his biscuits. And I've got a lot of Swift going, and because I don't have anything else to go really. So I'm gonna need something. I'm gonna need a 10 to 12 point game from Swift so he doesn't hurt me in this environment. Detroit loves to actually be away now, Dennis. They have changed
Wow.
yeah, it's home away split. They're actually 6% better away than home. How about that? And so they're a little 6% less. At home, they tend to pass more, rush less, but that's exactly opposite of what Chicago is giving them. So that's weird. And I do want to do that to test what does that mean. In other words, when we're having uh, a situation where uh, there's that, the team wants to do one thing, but the depth say they need to do something else. I'm wondering what prevails, you know, in that. Chicago's declining. They their efficiency sucks compared to Detroit. Detroit's 43. Chicago's half that. So not good. Away, they pass a lot and rush about the same. So they're going to try to pass, and they do have an opportunity. So I'm looking for a Keenan Allen game. Actually, if the smoke clears, it would not surprise me that Keenan Allen has a lot of activity. Don't know if he'll get a touchdown. Not sure I'll do a Gibbs Keenan Allen, touchdown parlay, but I think receptions might be an opportunity if you were setting a parlay there for this game. Take Detroit money line, Gibbs, and then maybe a Keenan Allen reception, like 6 or 7 or whatever they'll give you. There might be an opportunity. So that's how it looks from the landscape there, Dennis.
It's been an incredible change to the season for Chicago since that blown game against the Commanders, where they gave up that Hail Mary that beat them. They haven't won since that game, Professor. And last week against the Vikings, they should have had them beat. They were in a situation where they were down 8, and instead of kicking the extra point, they went for 2 and didn't get it, and ended up having the game tied and going into overtime. So that's 2 losses that they've taken upon themselves. One with a bad play on a Hail Mary, and really bad management of that end of sequence. They've 0-5 counting that Commanders game. So they have gone into a funk. But this is Thanksgiving Day in Detroit, and it's just a weird game. I don't know. That 10 points seems way too much for
Doesn't
Thanksgiving Day.
Doesn't
And,
it?
and Caleb Williams was fabulous last week against Minnesota. And, Minnesota, they're not that easy of a defense. They're easy against wide receivers, and that's how he picked them apart. But 10 points seems like too much in here. And but I could see the game going one of 2 ways. I could see this game turning into one of these, good offenses going 3 and out because the other teams have good defenses, and we see low scoring. Or I could see just Chicago hitting with some big plays. And that's why the above average DAP is Detroit has given up some of those long passes. Now, some of that has been in junk time and the quarterback DAP because they've been getting turnovers. But I could see this being kind of a high scoring, entertaining game to kick off Thanksgiving Day. But I'll take the Bears plus 10. That just seems too much in a tight game, and I'll take the over. But I'm telling you, I don't feel it for either one of these groups. As far as those parlay guys to consider, I'd consider DJ Moore to score a touchdown for the Bears, and I'd consider obviously Gibbs to score for Detroit. And I might jazz it up and say maybe Caleb Williams scrambles and gets into the end zone. If it's that might be the ticket, but we'll see if we got some better props in the games ahead. The one game that I think is perfectly positioned because it'll start at 3:30 Central Time. It's the Giants and the Cowboys. And, if your family's like mine, usually we eat a little bit earlier, so about 3:30, the turkey, is starting to kick in and you start to get sleepy. And both of these teams really are a cure for insomnia. So I think this game is perfectly positioned. What are the depths looking like?
Yeah. 22-15, about a field goal, 37. So a low scoring game. That's what Vegas thinks. Dallas is at home. They get rushing opportunity, quarterback opportunity. The tight end, though, they don't have Ferguson. The other one is,
Shoemaker.
yeah, he needs to take some shrooms or something, and because he's got an extra tough dap. The defenses, you can stream either one or both if you have multiple leagues. So play them both if you want for a streaming defense. Uh, new the Giants will have Drew Lock. DeVito didn't even catch the plane today, Dennis. Did you know that?
Ooh, I didn't hear that yet.
Yep. So
I
he
knew it
didn't.
didn't look good.
Yep. So it's Drew Lock day, and it's been a while since I've seen Drew Lock. So I don't know. I don't think he's a running. I think he's a passer. A pocket guy like a Russell Wilson is now. But I don't know. I don't remember him being a scrambler. Uh, but they have an opportunity in the passing. So Wandale Robinson, neighbors, in the kicker and the D. I mean, the DAPs seem to be more favored for a closer, a little bit higher scoring game than you might think by what Vegas. I mean, this is the one. 37 seemed a little low to me. Dallas loves away games, so this is exactly opposite of that. And in home, it's all about the pass. So Cooper Rush, CeeDee Lamb, could be maybe Tolbert gets in. I don't know about the tight end. Rico Dowdle has an opportunity. He's just not very explosive sometimes. I think he'll get a chance to grind a little bit, but I don't know how much scoring he'll do for that. But uh, so that's what I think there. Giants. Giants have a higher efficiency, Dennis. 28 versus 8. So that is surprising that I don't remember. It's been a while since we've seen an underdog having that much better efficiency, which is yards, score, over time, over, per second. So it looks like the Giants have an opportunity here. And so that's why I think 37 is a little bit low. And they, in a way, tend to want to rush more than usual. So I think they're going to try to rush more. And the Dallas below average, I'm not really worried about that. So Tyrone Tracy could redeem if he doesn't fumble. If he fumbles, is he done for the season? I mean, I
Oh,
don't, I don't. I mean, what he's had 3 fumbles in the last 2, 3 games. It's not been good.
no.
He needs to get spray some stickums on his hand or something, Dennis. He needs to get something going there. Hide some stickum, on his towels or something he carries, and he needs to do something. So I think, to me, it looks like these teams, in some ways, are really have some equal footing in the DAPS and the efficiency. It wouldn't surprise me that it's closer, and the Giants could surprise Dallas. Dallas may be overlooking them, and I don't know. It's a divisional situation, and I don't know. I wouldn't take the money line here, but I might take the over.
Yeah, I think you're right on the money here. I'll take the over in here. Uh, Cooper Rush looked really good last week against the Commanders, surprised
Hmm.
me.
Hmm.
There's no tape on Drew Luck right now. Like, we don't know what Drew Luck is going to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're right. In this first couple of years in the league, while he wasn't a big scrambler, it wasn't unusual for him to get 30 or 40 yards rushing.
Well, okay.
But
He's
but
he's dynamic. Yeah.
in recent years, he hasn't run at all.
Yeah.
So it just, I would think that you're just going to see him probably find one guy to target,
Don't you think
and
Neighbors?
Neighbors would be the logical
And I think
choice.
Wandale is the second. So if
Yeah.
Neighbors is covered, I think Wandale could get you 5 or 6 receptions. That may be a prop to look at as well.
Yeah, and I agree with playing both defenses, even though I think it could be a higher scoring game. I wouldn't be surprised to see this
Yeah,
in the
but
mid
Drew
40s.
Locke's first time,
They're going to
I mean,
turn over. There's going to be
yeah,
turnovers.
and Cooper Rush, yeah,
He's got to return to earth. He looked good, but the Commanders have made a few people look good this year. Generally speaking, it's been when a team's coming from behind on them.
right.
But this is another weird game that just doesn't seem like it should be a slam dunk for the home team. If I'm forced to make a pick, I'll take Dallas and spot the 3.5. I ain't betting that line. I will bet the over under on this one. I feel really confident that 37 is too low of a number. Neither one of these defenses has really scared me this year. The
Well, look,
Giant,
Dallas has Lamb, Giants have
yeah,
Neighbor. I think those guys, you know, should get you a touchdown. I mean, if I was doing a parlay, the over Lamb Neighbors touchdown might be the three-legger in here.
yeah. And Rico Dowdle is, he's not a superstar, but boy, he looked pretty good last week. Like it, there's things that happened last week that against the Commanders that make you go, what in the heck is going? I didn't see that coming from Dallas. I expected a lot of scoring in that game, but the I didn't expect there to be a Dallas win the rest of the year. I mean, that's how bad they've been playing. They just didn't seem interested, but all of a sudden they woke up. But maybe this is a better scoring game. Maybe this is a better game than I expected. Or we see Cooper Rush and Drew Lock revert to form and be just miserable. I mean, this
Well, I hope
is
not.
this game could go either way, but we need some CeeDee Lamb points. So
Oh, definitely.
I'm thinking highly that maybe we can get a good 20-point game out of Lamb this week. And so go for the over and 3.5 spot Dallas and the points. The nightcap. Oh, this is going to be interesting because we're setting up that we might get some snow in Green Bay tomorrow evening.
They said it's going to be cold.
It's going to be cold. It'll be, low 30s at game time, maybe upper 20s even at game time.
Any wind?
The wind is going to would have been worse if this was a day game.
Oh,
So evening, during the day tomorrow, the winds will be in that 15 to 20 mile an hour range.
yeah. Yeah.
By game time, they'll be in that 12 to 17 range. By the second half, they could be in the 8 to 14 range. They will be from the north. There will be some periods of snow showers. It might look like you're living in a snow globe where you see the flurries fluttering, but you don't really see much on the ground, causing
Gotcha.
major problems. It is a heated field. They have prescription athletic turf from Purdue University, so it's a nice heated field up there in Lambeau. So I think the footing will be fine. I don't think the winds will be great. Dobbs is out, so Jaden Reed hopefully will have a much better game. He's been kind of lackluster lately. I don't think he's been the same since his injuries. But man, I gotta believe that, Green Bay, I think they should be able to run the ball against Miami. Miami's defense has been better, but boy, this is an interesting game.
Yeah, it's 27-21, 48 points. So it's a higher, one of the higher ones. Uh, Green Bay at home gets an opportunity. Josh Jacobs should carve them up like the turkey, like they're talking on the radio. I heard somebody say that there. So I don't know if it's that dramatic, but it does have an opportunity. Tucker Kraft has an opportunity, and the kicker, and stream the Green Bay defense. So that is that. Love and his wide receivers will have to work a little harder, but it's not impossible. Below average. It's nothing that scares me. So I'm not sitting anybody. I'm playing Love if I need him and whatnot. Miami though has a tough overall situation except for John New Smith.
Oh yeah.
So it looks to me like if you're doing a parlay, the tight ends touchdowns, there's two of your legs there. Uh, and maybe a Josh Jacobs touchdown. So that could be the three-legger here. Uh, Tyreek Hill's going to earn his biscuits, Dennis. He better get fired up. And Tua is going to have to work a little bit. I mean, I played Tua last week. I had two and was not disappointed. I'll play him again if I need him, but I don't have a lot of Tua shares. Green Bay loves to be away. They're I'm sorry. They're at home. Uh, they rush and pass a hell of a lot. So 7% more rushing and 31% more passing at home. So that's really, it should be high flying from them if the wind doesn't get them. Miami is half the efficiency of Green Bay, and they are neutral, home or away, doesn't matter. Away, they should rush more and pass less, 22% less passing. And that's kind of what, except for Jonnu Smith, that's kind of what the Green Bay defense is going to give them. I don't know why they're so easy. They're tough everywhere else, but easy on the tight ends, Dennis. Look at that. I'm playing Jonnu Smith everywhere I got him.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
In my flex, and it's a tight end premium. So I enjoyed him last week. I'll enjoy him this week. It was really a treat. And old Hawkinson got me lots of points too. So it was a good week for tight ends, with Kelsey and Kittle and Hawkinson and John
Ertz.
Ertz, that's right. You and I play Ertz. Oh yeah, I played him as well. So it was good, worked out. But anyway, that it does say Miami is declining in the last 3 weeks compared to earlier in the season. So that is a little concern. They're half the efficiency. So everything seems to point to Miami having to play catch up the whole time.
I think this is going to be a game where we're going to see more running than passing. And it's going to confound a lot of fantasy football people going, oh my goodness, these are two great offenses. Josh Jacobs, he's had 3 games where he's had more than 25 carries this year already. And I think he chucks up another one on Sunday. I think they're just going to feed him the ball. I think he'll be able to run. On the other side of the ball, Devon Achane, since Tua's come back, has been on fire. I think both of those guys get in the end zone. I think Jonnu Smith is a good change of pace on the play action. So
Kind of like Tyreek Hill's going to have, he's kind of being cut out of this from your scenario.
so Hill's got a bum wrist that he's been complaining about, and that actually dates back to his arrest. Remember when he got pulled out of the car,
Oh, yeah.
put on the ground? His wrist has not been 100% since. And Green Bay's secondary has been tough, man. They've just really, really been rough. I mean, look what they did now. I know Purdy wasn't there last week, but this is San Francisco. They shut down CMC. They shut down Debo. They couldn't shut down Kittle, but that shows on their DAPs. They don't shut down tight ends. So Jonnu Smith is going to be a key here. I'm just hoping Waddle finds the end zone.
Yeah, we need some
Again,
Waddle.
we could use some waddling. But I think it's running back game. And because of that, I think this 48 is too high. I think add a little weather, not major. Okay. It's not change your strategy, change your players type of wind, but it's it's a cold game for a warm weather team. And then you got Green Bay playing at home, just want to be conservative, just want to keep the ball control going, keep Miami off the field. So I think Green Bay wins this, so I'd give the 3, but I like the under in this game, but maybe not enough to play it. I like to compare what guys have done running wise, if they played the other team. First time Josh Jacobs ever playing Miami. So we have no idea how he's going to, if they're going to be good at scheming against him. Nobody really has this year. It's been one of those deals where he'll go 3 or 4 runs without doing much and then break a nice run, break a nice run, break a nice run, then 2 or 3 without much, and then break a couple of runs. He just has been hard to keep contained and just has ground away and been able to get things done. So I'm looking for a lot of running from this game here on Thursday night. Now we get a Black Friday game, and for the life of me, Professor, I can't understand why this is in the afternoon.
3 o'clock. What?
Yeah,
Oh, I
weird.
know. I actually heard the answer. Apparently, the NFL made a
Oh,
deal that they would
yeah.
not interfere with Friday night lights with the high school because that
During,
is their
yeah,
pipeline
until
during
December. That's
until
correct.
December.
Yep,
Yep.
you're right.
So they don't want to interfere with high school games kicking off at 5:30 and 6.
That makes
So they
sense
want
then.
you to watch this game and then go see the future of the NFL at the local high school. And that makes sense. You want to keep your pipelines going and get all that and whatnot. And so that's good. 34-8.
Oof.
Vegas can't score more than 8. I just I don't I you telling me Kansas City is going to have to score 34 points? I mean, I'm not, there's just a lot of weirdness with this. The spread I can understand, but the over under 42, it seems like an under to me.
Yeah.
I mean, and Vegas is starting O'Connell again, right?
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
Minshew's out. So,
Yep.
Minshew would fling it and get about 5 interceptions, but he'd get 2 or 3 touchdowns, you know, that kind of thing. He just go bonkers. And we don't. I've forgotten what O'Connell does. I don't remember much about him. So KC, play them all day long. So play everybody, parlay everybody, Dennis. The defense parlay, the kicker, Kelsey, Mahomes, everybody gets in your 5 or 6 parlay here. Just the KC parlay, according to the DAPS. Vegas, the only shot they got is passing, and that's what KC's going to let them do. I don't know who even's going to be the running back for Vegas. Who's the running back these days?
Well, Zamir White is out.
Yeah,
Madison is questionable, was
yeah,
limited
yeah,
in practice, probably won't play.
yeah.
So it falls to
Gus Dula.
Abdullah
Yeah.
and Sincere McCormick.
Well, I don't know
Uh,
what they got. They better be pulling out everything because it's extra tough. I don't, you don't play the defense, you don't play the kicker for Vegas. You do play Kansas City's defense all day long, double, triple up on your props there with the defense. You figure they'll pick the pocket, probably a fumble recovery, could be a pick six. I mean, you could just do a parlay just on defense here, Dennis. An interception, a fumble recovery, and a pick six. That ought to get you about 20-1 right there. I don't know what the props are, but it just seemed to me, you could really build some interesting parlays here. Las Vegas on Minshew had been improving, believe it or not, Dennis,
oh, I
and
believe
the
it.
efficiency was damn good. Uh, Again, this only measures the offense. It doesn't measure the defense or the points scored against. It's only looking at them in a vacuum. And so that's, the efficiency is just a measure of that. And under Minshew, they've been doing really heroic work. And KC, again, we only look at the offense, hasn't had until recently do anything. Last
Yep.
2 3 weeks, they've had to do things, but their defense, and it looks like this is another one of those games where they're just going to choke them out. There's just nothing going to be happening for them here. Uh, it seems to me that the the Vegas doesn't like to be away from their home. They're 16% less efficient, so that's not good. Away, they don't pass or rush, below average, so that's not good. And so it looks like Vegas says 34-8. It just seems like there ought to be at least in the teens. Vegas gets lucky and gets a touchdown and some field goals. I just don't believe 8 points. I don't know if you can just bet on that, but that just seems awful low to me. I figured they'll accidentally get 2 field goals and maybe fall in the end zone, and KC will care less in junk time. And I don't think they'll have to score 34 points, Dennis. I think 28 would be enough. I think 21 would be enough for this.
Yeah, it's interesting because the last time the Raiders were over 20 points was against the Bengals. They scored 24. They played the Chiefs just a few weeks ago in week 8, and it
Yeah.
was 27-20 Kansas City. So, but that was Minshew
Yep.
at quarterback. AOC is a guy that I'm familiar with from his days at Purdue. He's going to throw a lot of short passes. Jacoby Myers will probably do good in this game because they'll probably have to throw the ball against the Chiefs in week 8. I think Madison had like 11 carries for 14 yards.
That
Like
sounds
they
about right.
they couldn't run the ball word diddly do against the Chiefs, yet they held the game close. And 13 points is too much in this game. So this is it's going to be a tighter game. I don't think they're going to hit that 47 that they did a couple of weeks ago. The Kansas City defense has actually been giving up some big plays lately. They've been heavy on the blitz and not getting home. And that's been the difference. And they've been getting beat on some long plays, but that was with better offenses.
Yeah.
This is AOC coming off of injury. He hasn't played in a while, and we just don't know what to expect. They don't have their top running backs, so they're really at the bottom of the barrel. Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers should do fine in this game, but other than that, I would stay away from Las Vegas. On the Kansas City side, You get Pacheco back, but how many carries are they going to give him? If the Chiefs do establish a big lead, as Vegas expects, he's not going to be out there. You're going to go Kareem Hunt and Samaje Perine and just sort of shorten the game. So I don't see Kansas City making it to 34. I'm thinking this is more like a 24-14, 24-17 type game. So I like the under, and I'd take Vegas with the 13. The Chiefs are just not blowing anybody out. They're not winning by two scores. They struggled against the Carolina Panthers last week. It was never in doubt. Like, you knew they were going to win this game. You never had doubt if you're watching this game, but they sure made it tough on themselves. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes, but I do like the under. I do like Vegas with the points.
I like it. I'm with you on that, and I just got to horse some parlays here. My optimism will be probably dependent on if I hit a pony or two down at the fairgrounds. Tomorrow's the big Thanksgiving handicap. Fairgrounds is actually surprising me. They started last Friday, and traditionally they've always started on Thanksgiving Day and early in the morning or about 10 o'clock. I don't know when the post time is. I used to remember they do it early to try to get done before
Yep.
most of the football. So they try to run a 9 card thing earlier in the day and have that Thanksgiving handicap there. So, if I hit a superfecta there, then I may try to parlay my goodness into some of these late Thursday and Friday night miracle parlays that I can think of in my head here, Dennis. So looking forward to that. I wish you and your family a good Thanksgiving, and don't stab your in-laws. And the dog agrees with that as well. So feed your pets. Don't mistreat them during Thanksgiving. Feed them plenty of turkey.
Well, my mother-in-law is a great cook, so we'll have fabulous turkey. We'll have a great ham, all the fixins, So we will have no shortage of food. I'm actually working for Thanksgiving. I'm doing the noon show and the 4 to 6 show. So some of my compadres in the radio station can have Thanksgiving with their families, since I'm only about 6 minutes away from the in-laws to the radio station. So I'll be having fun spinning some Christmas tunes and seeing if I can stay out of trouble for a couple of hours on Thanksgiving and on Black Friday. So head on over to the scienceoffantasyfootball.com. Check out all of the professor's defense against position for these Thursday and Friday games.
The snaps are up as well. I posted them this after. Yep.
My articles are up for the week. Boy, I've been on time this week, Professor.
You have. Good job.
The editor must be wondering what's going on with this guy, but check out those as well. I might have another article coming this weekend that I'm working on. If it doesn't get done, it'll get done early next week. But talking about what I've discovered with my beta test, that I think the separation from first best, meaning top starter in fantasy football, to 12th best, which is still a starter in 12-team leagues, that gap between 1 and 12 might actually be wider than we think. When we look at fantasy points, it might be a little deceiving. When we look at consistent upside, you might be surprised at how many tier breaks there are even between the top 12. So I'll be talking a little bit about that and how we might be able to use that strategy to our advantage as another layer of the better than zero. And then I head back here on Saturday, of course, for another edition of the Science of Fantasy Football. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Get to work, folks.